Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you're here. Real quickly, I want to say thank you and shout out to channel members. Thank you. And I want to say thank you to anybody who's found their way in here to check out my knife, my EDC content. I really appreciate it. I hope you find it enjoyable. Today is an unboxing. I'm not 100% sure what it is. I think it's something that was sent in. Let's just open it. It's something that was sent to me to check out and share with you guys. And I'm thinking it might be from Remette. And it's of the fixed blade nature, I think. Yes. Okay. You guys know I'm kind of weird about the knives that I'll look at, that I'll check out. And these guys saw... What's that little load note? All right. For one, it's kind of twisted in here in the package. All right. So anyway, they'd seen the channel. They're a brand that I've seen folders. They do bargain stuff. They do some higher end stuff. I've never had any experience with them. I was interested in checking out this fixed blade because this knife is available through Amazon. Back in the day, not back in the day, but when I was buying a lot of knives, I would always buy Amazon finds because I always thought it might be good, right? I've given away a lot of Amazon knives that are good knives, and this knife is interesting. They offered to send it out. When I saw it on Amazon, it is the Remette Tactical Survival Hunting Fishing Knife, made in China. So it does come with their line, titanium versions, an M390, micarta 14C and D2, button lock, thumb hole. Kind of gives you some button lock, axis lock, liner lock. Just kind of some tips and care tips. That's great. I'm not sure about that, but here's the knife. All right. Get that out of the way. So what we have here, guys, is we have a tech lock that is fully adjustable. That I was wondering if this was going to be on the sheath. It looks like it might be, I don't know if it's mounted to the sheath, but this is a ferro rod, which I'm all about ferro rods, but it came with a striker, which made me think most ferro rods are going to hopefully have a flat edge on the spine of the knife that allows you to strike it. I know some of mine are really sharp, some of them aren't, but it's something worth checking out to see if it's something that I would necessarily carry or recommend carrying, because the way it stands, this is kind of a standalone piece. If I'm having to use that rod, which I'm not going to untie it, but you know how it works. Here, I'll throw a spark, might as well. I'm going to have to test it out here in a second anyway. So, throws a spark fine with that little tool, which also has a wrench tool and a little measuring stick. So it's got multi-functions, and I would tie it on here based on how far I wanted it to dangle. You can rotate this. This is set up now to go through your belt. It would carry the perpendicular or standard. You can rotate this to canter it at 45 to carry it at scout style. What I will do, probably before I even finish this unboxing, is take it off, because I'm going to use it. If I'm going to carry it and try it out, I will probably carry it on either horizontal straps because it's a bigger knife, or possibly an ulti-clip. But I think this is going to be horizontal strap territory. Let's see if I can get this out without getting a second tool. Tech locks are great. Don't get me wrong, and they serve a fantastic purpose, especially for a heavier carry, pack carry, camp carry. For me, personally, I like a lighter carry, and these are kind of bulky to me. Now, they're very well done. It's got a secure See, that's kind of acting as a washer, which I like that, because you don't have to use that ferro rod, which I was wondering about. So let's do this. See, when we examine our knife here, very comfortable, but it doesn't have a sharp 90-degree, so it's not going to strike that ferro rod. Again, it's not designed to, because they give you this tool, which is kind of a standalone great feature if you want to keep it in your pack or keep it with you. Everybody should have a ferro rod and know how to use it. But for me, I'm not going to carry it because it's bulky with the knife. If I also need to use the tool, you know, why would I do that? I would just carry the ferro rod, because I've got several knives that will strike ferro rods. Plus, in all truth, I carry an Exotac lighter and all kinds of different fire starting stuff. But sorry to waste time for you guys, but I did want to check that out because it was something that came with it that, to me, it was an extra feature because you don't pay more for it. But in all truth, if it's going to add to the bulk of the knife, I'd rather not have it, because I'm going to be carrying it to try it out. And if I'm going to be carrying it, I'm probably going to carry this one on straps. It's got great retention, locks in really well into that sheath. I'll probably put a strap here, carry it scout. I could put an ulti-clip on it, but I think it's a little long. It is going to be, for me, on the larger size of what I carry, and it was kind of going to fall into that camp knife, maybe that Saturday knife, where it's definitely a primary carry or a primary carry replacement. We'll see how it sizes up here in just a second. But it's got an interesting, let me wipe it off. It's got an interesting blade shape. And when I say interesting, I like to see that because it doesn't look like something else. You know, it looks, to me, that's an original looking knife. Now, it is D2 steel, which for me, I'm not a D2 hater. It's always worked fine for me, especially when you're talking about a thicker piece of D2 that's fully treated and coated. You've got G10 handles that are kind of machine contoured and also, what would you call that? Pebbled, or a rock finish, a very soft rock finish, but it gives you good grip. You've got a little bit of displacement between the scales and the tang of the knife. Now, I think it's intentional because the displacement looks to be consistent all the way around. For example, it seems to be exactly as far off the scale here, which is minuscule, as right here. So that was done by design. Got a nice sharpening choil. The plunge grind only comes back to right here, but as you can tell, you do have a nice sharpening choil, and you could easily zip that out a little more. It feels comfortable in the hand. You would not want to go above that. So this is basically your grip right here, which is fine. You've got this nice jimped area with a harpoon. Well, I call it a harpoon. You've got this interesting, I'm going to call it a clip point. It's a drop point, but it's clipped here as it runs down the spine. You've got your jimping. You've got this swedge here. Gets a little stiffer, thicker to the tip, which I like because it's going to be more of a hard use knife. And then clips down to a really nice splinter digger point. Let's get some paper. That's surprising. Well, guys, it's therapeutically slicey, which I really was not expecting for it to come from Amazon. And I'll drop Amazon link in the description of this video. Keep in mind, I've not tried it out yet, except for what you guys are seeing. But what I can see from here, depending on what size knife, let's do a quick, give you guys a size idea. I'm carrying something different today. You wouldn't normally see in my pocket that I'm trying out. It's about the same size as the Cold Steel Airlight. Actually, exactly the same size as the Airlight. Let's look at it next to something more familiar. Benchmade Bug Out. Spyderco PM2. So it's about the same size and length as the PM2. When I do the full review, do its own review, I'll get you dimensions, I'll get you blade thickness, we'll see what's under the scales. We'll give it a much more thorough looking at. I just wanted to check it out. Guys, I was interested and was very, very willing to take a look at this knife because it's readily available on Amazon. It is, I want to say $49.95, $49.88, something under 50 bucks, right? I'm an Amazon Prime guy, so I buy a lot of Amazon stuff. I did not buy this knife. It was sent to me for review. But I can tell you that I've bought a lot of knives on Amazon. You can look through my videos, you'll see them. I've given a lot away on Friday Night Flicks. I'm not sure, I mean, this will be handy. This would be handy in my pack. The ferro rod is great. It does come with this little attachment, which I think would be a little cumbersome if that was hooked to the sheath, but it's put in between the sheath and the ulti-clip. So if I had a couple of spacers and I really wanted to use the ulti-clip, I could still use the ulti-clip without the ferro rod holder. I'm going to, however, carry it with some straps. I'm going to set this off to the side, but I will give you guys a full review on what I think about this knife. What I can tell you right now is it's comfortable in the hand. It's got a lanyard hole or a little lanyard tube back here on the back. It balances really well on my finger. Not that that's super important, but that tells me that the knife kind of has its mass where I want it to be. It's got a nice belly up front. There's a lot to like about it. I think it's a cool looking knife. I think the design is unique. There's not a ton of billboarding. Yes, you do have Remette, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, on the blade. You've got D2 on the other side. You've got this nice flat ground blade. You saw how sharp it was. I think I've got some cardboard that I've already started cutting on. Let's do this. Cut off a piece that won't dox me with the knife. I'm just using the point on a box. So the point works very well, right? I don't want to cut it by mat. But more importantly, like with the paper, for a thicker grind, that's probably 3/4 flat, and priable knife. I mean, I think this knife is a hard use knife. It cuts very, very well. So that is a huge plus. The presentation, huge plus. You know, it did kind of come a little janky in the box. It just shifted, but that has nothing to do with Remette. That's just Amazon. It was packed very well. The knife was packed up separately into the sheath. Nice box. Then it comes with the ferro rod and the striker, which work well together. I won't be carrying it. I'll actually slip this down in here, because if we give this away on a Friday Night Flicks, somebody might want to carry it. So I'll drop that down in there, and I will get the tech lock, put all that in the Remette box with the little note and instructions. But this is the Remette, we'll call it the Tactical Hunting Field Knife. I call it an EDC survival knife. This is the type of knife that would be, you know, very handy for a Slurpee saver, very handy around the campsite, a nice knife to put on your pack if you do a lot of hiking. A little bit heavy, but not super heavy. It's a longer knife, right? We looked at some size comparisons, and again, this is more for the review, but I want to say it's probably going to be around 8 1/4 to the back of that tang, so it's a little bit over an 8-inch knife. So I call it a medium full size. I really like the feel of it. I'm looking forward to carrying it, letting you know what I think of it. But for right now, for 50 bucks, I think it's a winner. Look at it closer. I'll do a full review on it and bring it back to you. But this is the Remette. On the back, it calls it the Tactical Survival Knife. I think it's the Tactical Survival Knife is what we'll call it. I'll put a link in the description, one of my Amazon affiliate links, if you guys are interested in checking it out. D2, nicely contoured G10 handle. Feels good in the hand. So I'll let you know what I think. Great retention on the sheath. Guys, I appreciate you watching the video. If you're so inclined and you're new and you haven't had a chance yet, if you'd hit that subscribe button and that bell notification icon, it would help me out huge. But please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your hearts and choose debate, not hate. I love y'all. Peace.